good morning, or afternoon, or evening, or whatever it happens to be where you are. Who do we have? Tillers, are you out there? Good afternoon, sir. Are you out there, or are you just auto hosting? Looks like it's an auto host. So, how are things going for everybody? First thing I need to do is let's see, I thought this would update. Oh, let's not worry about that too much. Okay, so what are we going to do today? If Tillers actually does show up on the stream, I want to have him take a look at a couple of the things I've done with his latest work. But since he's not here, let's get into the other fun thing I had planned for today, which is to play with Flowscape. This is probably playing music over the top of whatever you were hearing. Doing much of anything right now. Why is that? so I can see my chat window. Okay. We're going to play around today, and we are going to try to build this. I want a view from... Oh, there's Tillers. Hey, how's it going? I got something to show you in just a second. But my project for the day is going to be to try to show a view of the entrance to this inn. Basically, the view of this from this bridge. Or maybe even from just before the bridge. Yes, I did see Tillers. That's what I wanted to show you, actually. Before I get going on this, let me bring back up this, and I will show you the few stat blocks that I was working on. This is the one I sent you. I think this looks really, really great, by the way. I think you did an excellent job with this. Hey, Dazzly Cat, how you doing? Yeah, now it doesn't say Creature Fighter 4, it's just Fighter 4. The hit points line up better. The other thing I mentioned was the plus signs on the various things. I can live with that, and I think everybody else can too. That's not a big deal. So I wouldn't worry about that one. I think that the two that you did, the hit points used to be mashed right up against the HP, and everything was a creature. I did notice it seemed, does it default to creature if you don't put anything in there at all, or do you have to put something in? Oh, okay, you added a comment to the form so people see it's a modifier. Good. That's good enough for that one. That's not worth the coding, because then you'd have to deal with the fact that people put in the plus sign and you don't want to see double pluses and all that crap. That's the best way to handle that. Yeah, so I think excellent work. I have about 20 or 30 more of these things to get done, like in very short order. So I've been waiting with bated breath for this, both for creatures and for NPCs. So I will be giving it a very good workout over the next couple of days. If I'm not tied up with Crusader Kings 3, if I ever get my hands on Delian, I'm going to kill him. I'd actually not, but is there anything else missing? I don't think so. I think that the pieces that you have there will do what they need to do. Let me bring in the... let me go to the actual stat block for a minute. Everything up here is good. Thinking monstery stuff. I mean, there's enough free form area to put in the spell and whatever spells you might want to do. You do have an abilities. Is this a limited sized field? The abilities field? Because the only thing... Oh, okay. You might want that to be a full-size field like these. And let me show you why. I can show you why very quickly. If I can remember what I'm looking for here. Yeah, here, for example, is a creature who has a number of, these aren't spells, but they are encounter abilities. This stuff here. All right, so rather than just list them, we might want to actually put in the long text for them. Now, if it was a full-size field, we could handle, you could handle doing all of that. But a 256 character field would basically limit us to putting in just the names of the things and then having to find somewhere else what the actual definition of these things were. Lots of creatures have these. Lots and lots. You like Ink Cloud. I mean, they're attacks. They're not melee attacks. So, and some of them really are special, just special situations. You know, especially whether you want to call them abilities or whatever. So I think if you took abilities and maybe even moved it down underneath melee and ranged, because that's not skills. You have skills separately, which is important, and that's okay the way it is. But if you took that abilities and maybe even called it special abilities, and moved it down among the other large-scale fields, I think that would probably, in the long run, be a little better. I would have gotten to that when I went to put my first dryad in. So for most NPCs, it won't matter, but although for NPCs, you know they might have certain feats, and you'd probably just list the feats because we do have a separate tag for feats. So that would be the only other recommendation I could come up with on the top of my head. As I start to put a bunch of things in, I know who to get to if I if I have any other comments or recommendations. I have another quick question for you. I'm just curious about one thing. I like the fact that we can put the image ID in here. Because I think it does produce a very, very nice, you know, concise image block. But Tillers, this is just an advice thing. I don't think it's something that you can fix. But if I go into campaigns and I bring up a campaign and I look at the NPCs for a campaign. Alright, when I go to create one of these, and I think this is, maybe you can just give me some advice. I think this is going to need, I know Dimmy is working on a lot of this stuff, but this wants a profile photo, and it doesn't give you a way to provide an ID for a photo you've already loaded. Is this going to load a second copy of the image file that I want? Or do I have to remember to do this first? You know, it just seems a little odd. Now, again, I know this isn't part of the stat block, so it's not something you did, but, oh, you already complained about it too, okay. I know Dimmy is completely overhauling the whole NPC system, so I'm not gonna, you know, I don't think I'm gonna worry about it too much for now. I know he was saying yesterday that basically even the whole concept of tying NPCs to a campaign is going out the window. So, special abilities is fixed. Excellent. I love fast service. You're great, Tillers. Thank you. Alright, so anyway, like I said, what I really wanted to start to play with a little bit today is not that, but this. And Daz, I don't know if you came in, but my objective, my lofty goal for the day is to take basically the view that a player would see coming over this bridge at this inn with its stable and a couple of little cabins on the side. I'm not worried about the stuff on the right side of the road, but so basically from about this corner looking this way. Alright, and I want to see if we can get Flowscape to give me a nice image of a wonderful inviting inn, you know, with its stables and other things. So that's going to be our fun project for the day. I have put exactly 3 minutes worth of playing around into Flowscape. So this is going to be a long, slow, and interesting exercise. And I hope I will actually remember everything I need to remember just from the few tutorials I wanted. I do know the first thing I want to do. We can just stay here, but I'm going to wipe out all the plants. And I'm going to... Let's see if I can remember how to do this. No, not ocean yet. Not sky. Here we go. And the first thing I want to do is see if we can get a nice, yeah, something like that. That will work for starters. And then the other thing I need, let me see if I can remember how to do this. This might end badly, by the way, folks. These are just backgrounds. I need to put water in here, and I know there's a way to do it. Basically, the trick is to lower getting somewhere here. Moving around is a challenge by itself, by the way. There's a way now for me to play around with the height of the terrain. Sculpt. There it is. The first thing I need to do is basically put in my river. And to do that, we're gonna side here. Might be a little too high, but we'll get to that. See what that looks like in a second. Fill in this little area. And this little area. And I need to get a sense of scale here too. And then I need to let the river finish all the way out. I wish there was a grab and pan. And there might be, I just don't know where it is. Alright, so this lets me now. Now I can fine tune a little this. Take down some of these big bumps. Right along the edge, just where it's stubborn. You can't apply the tool to the side of the block. Looks like it'll do. I might want to raise this terrain up a little bit more. Actually, I can probably. Hello, come back. Thank you. Probably paint a bit. I don't want that. Oh, isn't this a fun tool? What am I looking for? What I'd like to do. What did that do? Okay, that changed the color of the grass. Is it just a matter of raising this grass back up? No, I did something to that. Not sure what. I'm going to turn that into a pile of dirt. How do I change? I don't want these. I want Bees. Well, that turned off the ocean, the water. That's the background. We'll deal with backgrounds later, by the way. That's one of the last steps. I don't get how to set these things, unfortunately. What am I missing here? I'm missing something obvious. Why is my mouse jamming up at the side of this window, too? That's not a good thing. Oh, is Flowscape controlling this mouse? Ooh, that's interesting. Uh-oh. Okay, alright. Flowscape doesn't play well with others when it comes to a mouse. That's interesting. Now it does, okay. Also doesn't remember its settings. That is also interesting. Oh, look at this. It jammed the mouse up again. And then the picture just moved on its own. Sound echo? You guys are hearing an echo? Not quite sure what would be causing that. Alright, you know what? I'm not going to kill myself fighting with this all day. We're going to try something else today, I think. You still getting an echo? No echo right now, okay. I have a feeling that was, yes, I do have my second screen. I have my second screen. I'm all set up. So I'm actually seeing what you guys see and hearing what you guys, well, no, not hearing what you guys hear. But that's a Streamlabs limitation, not a system limitation. But I can actually see and manage all kinds of things. I won't have to pop up the sprint timer anymore in the middle of the screen. I mean, you'll still see the time countdown, of course, but I do have a little surprise for that too, and I might just run one sprint just to show off. I put an audio clue at the end of the sprint. So, you know what? Just for fun, why don't we today switch gears a little bit? I was hoping Flowscape. There's obviously one or two very basic things that I need to get a little more familiar with how to set up in the beginning of Flowscape. I mean, I could bring that thing up and we could play with it a bit, but you know, and we could do that. I mean, there are a lot of fun things you could do. So anyway, my plan, for example, is you have this river, and then I would want to put don't worry about the size. But that's the Orientals. The size would get taken care of, obviously. That might be a good that might be a good end. Once you put these things down, you can play around with them dimensionally or directionally, and so we can get a better look at what's going on. This doesn't have the right kind of opening, but I'm going to just zoom around to where it wants to think, where it thinks it wants to put these things. And play. But just to give you an idea of all of the kind of things that are available in here, that might actually be good. These are all the preset assets. Or, well, that one looks very inny, but it's not the right shape. Well, you know what? If it has to be the right shape, it can be the right shape, because I can still redesign this in. I'm about to remap it anyway. So we have those houses. We have slightly different design. Ooh, that one might go. Keep that one. That one just might work. Okay. You can put together castles. Bits of walls and things like that. And we've got various other little odds and ends. You can see that decorating is going to become fun. We also have, you want a whole castle, there you go. Alright, so putting a village together becomes very possible, and then with each one of these things, again, you get a lot of individual movement and adjustment. And then there's, those were light sources, or a fire, yeah. You can see it's just below ground a little bit, so you can put up fences, or here's some bridges, some stone bridges anyway. Little add-on pieces to add on to a building. Slightly more run-down buildings. Actually, not really, just a different style again. And all of this stuff is scalable. It's not a bridge that I'm looking for. That's a covered bridge. Is this an add-on piece of a building? What is this? This is something you can stick onto the front of a building to enhance its entrance. So they've even thought of things like that. And then you can grow trees. Right, and you can control their size. And if you want to put down a bunch of random ones, you can just run, and it'll vary the sizes. We can make a nice Christmas tree. We can go for fall colors if we want. Make a little room here again. There are dead trees. If you want to make that scary forest kind of thing. We have weird cactusy kind of trees. We have savanna plains kind of stuff. This is more dead trees, so yeah, more dead sticks. So lots of stuff to play with, all kinds of grasses to throw in. So the final decoration could be a lot of fun, and then you'll even throw in animals that'll walk around, and they'll wander around the scene once they're in. So because you can capture the stuff either as an animation or as a still. Oh, I see. We have meerkats. We have zebras. Tillers, they have a bunny rabbit. Yay. Now we can create giant bunnies. Rabbits are as big as that elk, so how big a bunny can we make? Those are big bunnies. There's a few different jungle animals in here. I see a rhino and a lion. We got frogs and fish. Butterflies, dragonflies. You can make a nice swamp out of some of this. This is going to be a lot of fun. There's a few fundamental things and only a couple of tutorials online. And I haven't been paying attention to the chat because it's not showing up. Let me see what's been going on. Those wooden palisades, yeah. Well, again, you can play around with the size of everything. Hey, Coffee, how you doing? Tillers, giant rabbits, yeah. You can play around. I need to just master a few more basic movement and manipulation things. I will do a stream very shortly on actually constructing something with intent in Flowscape. I think it's a wonderful, it's a fascinating little tool. I know lots of us end up struggling for just that right, not so much portraits, but for just that right image of the building that you're writing an article about, or the village, or a certain scene in the woods or whatever. I know I'm running into it all the time. There's probably about 15 articles that I spent hours looking for the right piece of art and not finding it. I think Flowscape is going to probably go a long way. It's not going to solve every problem, but it's going to go a long way toward filling a lot of those needs once you're used to it. It is available on Steam. It is $15 US. And as long as you have a graphics driver to power it, I think you're crazy not to go for it. Like I said, there's a few basic movement and manipulation tools, and how to, just setting a few basic things. But I think once those are down, once I have those down, I will hopefully by next week do a stream on actually building the scene I want to build, which, like I said, is going to involve that inn. And if I have to change the layout of the inn a little bit, that's fine, because one of the other things I need to do that's on my to-do list, that map you saw and the battle map that goes with it, both came out of Campaign Cartographer, and I'm swapping all of my mapping over to Dungeon Fog and Incarnate. So to keep the looks equivalent, I'm gonna be rebuilding the maps anyway, and the interior map of the inn right now, which looks like this. If I have to change that, if I have, just to fit a better picture, then I will. It really doesn't have anything important in it. It's not a major combat scene. As long as I've got a common room, a kitchen, and a stairway up to the second floor, and a little entry vestibule type thing. And again, it looks like there's things I can tuck onto the sides of buildings to handle that. I should be okay. And if I have to, but now that I have a tool to actually draw the outside of the inn, I'm going to draw the outside of the inn and then worry about laying out the inside. Alright, so they will be consistent, and consistency is a good thing. So, having done all of that, I think what I'm going to do today is I'm going to play a little bit with Tiller's latest creation. And I'm going to get a couple more creatures in there, and we'll play around with that special abilities change. The first thing I'm going to do is bring in the couple of images that I know I'm going to need. There we go. And if they all look similar, that's because that was kind of on purpose. And yes, they were all kind of modeled off. These are 3 different art breeders from the same source. Okay, what else do I want to do with these? I want to model these like I did here. Put the artist in there. I should probably put titles in here too. This one is those in there. Cannot see any licensed stuff for flows. Yeah, you are. It's someplace. It is someplace. I did see it. Because I mean, you're actually doing the creation, so and it's their assets, but you get to do a lot of manipulation. But it is someplace that it is available for you can use the stuff. While I'm in here, I should probably fix these. Oh, I did have titles on these. Okay, good. Okay. And then we'll come back to stat blocks. And we are going to create a stat block. Actually, the other thing I need to do, we're going to do Definia first. She is a lesser naiad, which is this guy. But I'm going to put that out of the way because I can do that now. And we are going to create a new sheet. Now here's the interesting thing. Should I create two? You can copy. You can copy these things, can't you? Yeah, but when you copy, you only copy the template. Because I need to. You know what? These are all going to be named, so I'm going to do it this way. Come on. Definia. Okay, tillers. Once you leave the field, you can see it, but you're putting, I think, white on white while it's the active field. Of course, that I remember to save the image ID, of course. Oh yeah, this was the other. Actually, the other thing. Was instead of image ID, if image tag would probably have been nicer. Either that or Dimmy needs a way to let us pull just the ID number off of these instead of the click to copy tag, because the copy tag brings in the image. The BB code as well. Okay. clean up that text a little bit, but it'll do for now. 6. Common, Elven, Sylvan. That's interesting. Hit points, weaknesses to cold iron. Resistance. Fire 3. Speed 25 feet. Swim 25 feet. Fleet. Melee. Equus fist plus 8. And then we have spells. You can BB code in here, right? Let's find out. Yes, you can. Here's something that occurs to me. I mean, I'm creating Definia as a unique, but to help the entire community, I should probably clone this whole sheet just as a simple nymph, and make the simple nymph public, because take off the picture and just let it entity as its own. But looking good so far. Have a few more special abilities to put in. Yeah, no, actually, going back, the placeholder text I can barely make out, but I can see it. It's a light gray on the white background. But when I start typing, it looks like it's completely white. The whole thing disappears. And it's there, but it... Well, that's interesting. The misspelling notes go in. Oh, I just want to put that there. I'm going to put it here. Let's see what we got now. Okay, so we have that. You know what, I might move that water dependent up into the general blurb. I think it makes more sense there. But I can't see it. 1, 2, 3 lines. Well, that's interesting. It shows up in the highlights. Yeah, it's white on white. See what that looks like. Yeah, I think that's a little better. Because that keeps the actual combat related things down here in one place. I just need to put in her primal innate spells. We should be good to go. Let's see what we look like now. I just need to clean up the way these look. Other than that, she's just about done. Like I said, I think that's really classy looking. He did a good job with the final layout. Okay, that one's been saved, and I think I just put it in the right folder. Let's find out. NPC folder. Yep, there she is. Time to catch up. There's my caffeinate. Two hydrates after a caffeinate coffee. We can do that though. And I'm posture checking now. Any ideas for a more gothic horror-looking portrait maker at all? I want to create a necromancer woman. Have you tried playing with Artbreeder, DM? Because you can do some interesting things with Artbreeder. In fact, those portraits that I did. In fact, let me. See if it remembers me. Did I just do a Google login for this? No, thank you. Yeah, here we go. Okay. All right. What I was going to point out is I don't think I even saved it. Wow, I didn't. If you look at this guy, and you look at this guy, all right, you can see that I was able to do some playing around with the effects. So like if we took this one, and the first thing I did was added some art to it, which right off the bat, changes some of the lines. You got to be careful you don't go too far with some of these filters, but there's like big jumps and some things. But you can play around with a lot of the probably make it a little darker. How would that do? Does she look nasty enough? Alright, compared to this picture here, which is what I started with. Oh no, sorry, it was this one. I think it was that one that I started with. No, it was the red hair. Okay. So I basically just turned that into that. And that was just playing with a couple of the different filters. I mean, you can, we can change her hair color now. If you want, we can. I don't know what hat does. We can make her older. You can do a lot of fun stuff with Artbreeder. I mean, all you really need to do is find a picture that you just, that you see the hint of what you want in, and then you can turn it into whatever you want with just a few mouse clicks. So DM, is that the kind of thing you had in mind? Rabbit Candy Boy, good morning. Yeah, Tiller's DM said he was looking for a necromancer, and I basically just took the 17-year-old lighthearted bard character from my, or sorry, actually, it was the ranger, innkeeper, hunter, who's a nice happy NPC in my world, and with a dozen mouse clicks turned her into this. I don't know if you were away, but this is the picture that I started with, and then I turned it into that. So you even got lucky with that kind of bloodshot eye look. But that looks kind of necromancer. And again, we can make her older. What would happen if we made her a lot older? Change her hair. How about that? There you go. The echo has returned. I have a feeling actually that echo is Twitch. I don't think it's me. I only have one microphone. Let me make sure I don't have my second microphone up. Come on, where are you? Where is it hiding? There it's hiding. Nope, I only have one microphone enabled, so it's not reverbing. It could be Twitch. Twitch it does that from time to time. Now normal, no echo. Yeah. So. So anyway, DM. Yeah, if you haven't played with Artbreeder, buckle in, because you can get lost down this rabbit hole for a long, long time. Okay, so back to what I was doing. Let us bring Taffinia back up. That's better. Now I can actually see while I'm in here. What I wanted to do here was bulldoze, and I personally believe that the spell name should be capitalized. That should do it for this one. Oh, you know what? There is one more thing, Tillers. I hate to. It fixed itself. Or were you talking about the echo? You were talking about the echo. There is one more thing now that I think about it that just might look a little better. It's minor, but you have the on the armor class line. We have the actual armor class and then the saves. I'm wondering if the saves should have their own line. Underneath armor class, have a saving throws and then put the fortitude, reflex, and will on there, as well as the any other. I like, by the way, the fact that you added that other special, because there are like a lot of combinations of race and or heritage that give +1 against any fire, any warm based or heat based or cold based or whatever. And on the main character, the funny thing is, on the main character sheet, there's no good place to put those things where the players actually remember to use them. So actually having it right on the line with the saving throws is a really good idea. So I would, just for the sake of experimentation, I'm going to, in the special saving throw section, I'll take this out in a minute, but just so we can see it, put in a little text, save changes, view sheet. Alright, so yeah, if all of this was on its own line that was called saving throws, that would be good. The weaknesses and resistances along with the hit points, that one's okay. Some people might want those to actually get their own category as well, but there tend not to be more than a line, an entry or two. So I don't have a problem with those being mixed up with those, but the saving throws are something that people look for right away. So if you want to play with, I don't know if you're jumping back. You said good idea. I don't know if you're jumping back in to fix that. I know you're real good at doing these things kind of on the fly. Meantime, let me get the rest of my screens back up. There we go. DM Stretch disappeared after he said he was looking for something to do. I want to do my Necromancer woman, and we haven't seen him since. Fixed. I love it. He's quick. Let's see. Let's do save changes. View sheet. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I think that just makes it a lot easier to zoom right in on those. It also gives me the ability, for example, to do not so much on this one, but for example on an NPC sheet especially. What am I doing? I don't know what that save page just keeps popping up. For example, on Theodric, I think I'm lingering on something with my mouse clicks. When we get to armor class for him, he's an innkeeper. If he goes out, he's got his armor on. If he's not out, if he ends up in a bar fight in the middle of a serving night, he's not wearing his armor. He's unarmored. So it's good to to know both, and having armor class just by itself gives me the ability to do that, to lay out the two options, which is very handy. So I think we can put that to bed for now. I think those are pretty good looking. What's the delay like today, by the way? Let's see. Oh wow, a bit of a delay there. Let's see. Click. It's about 10 or 12 seconds. Wow. Oh, and that's from me going out to you, so. Okay, Tillers is now going AFK for food. Yay. Yay, food. Okay, so we took care of Teffinia, who I need for the adventure I'm working on. I need to do one more for the adventure I'm working on. Another character sheet. I think I just saw. I don't want a character sheet. I didn't want a character sheet. I thought that said that. I gotta fix that first. Tags. She's not an NCP, she's an NPC. Okay, I don't want a character sheet, I want a monster NPC sheet. And this one is Amalthea the Dryad. And Amalthea is actually, I call them just greater dryads, but she is a dryad queen, or hamadryad. I don't know if this level is going to stay. I'm going to be playing around. I'm doing a lot of adjustment to the Fae in my world, but for now we'll put her in as the way the book has her. She is unique. She is chaotic good. I do have an image ID for her. She is this one. this one needs a little customizing. This way. Pardon me. She is one of the circle of greater nymphs. Lead and protect. should do for now. I do need to keep that too. Okay, moving on. Speed plants. Long list of skills. Let's see how this looks. Acrobatics plus 25. Plus 19. Crafting plus 23. 25. Woodworking. Deception plus 30. Wow. Diplomacy. I guess she can look very angry when she needs to. Plus 2. Plus 8. Wow. Okay. Do that. Her armor class. Those of you who are used to D&D, by the way, and not Pathfinder, might be shocked by some of these numbers, but you need to realize that in Pathfinder, as things go up in level, saving throws, a whole bunch of things kind of inflate along with your character level. And the same thing, of course, is true for creatures. That's interesting. You have to add that one too, huh? Hit points. Oh, she's not easy to kill. No immunities, but she's weak to cold iron. Well, that's interesting. She's weak to cold iron. And fire. That makes more sense, actually. No resistances. 30 feet. Now we have a bunch of things to get in here. We'll start with this one. Smack you with a branch. Wow, can she smack you with a branch? Oh, and she can turn leaves into throwing stars. How does that sound, folks? Does that say branch equals 27? That should be branch plus 27. Leaves plus 27. Now comes the fun part. You know what? I should be running a sprint here for anybody here that wants to do a sprint. So you know what? I'm going to launch a sprint, partly because I also want to play with my thing. But I'm going to spend 10 minutes finishing this up. And anybody who's out there that's writing and would like to do a sprint, we can do a sprint because I want to see if my end of sprint sound popper is working. So we will find out. You guys will need to tell me if you hear that. I won't hear the sound, but I will know that the sprint is over. And we're going to start now. There's the timer running. Good. And I'm going to get back to work over here. A long list of spells here, too. So you missed a lot of the stream due to a really exciting, dramatic formula. That's right, Formula One is Formula One day for you. Oh, the map create, yeah, Flowscape, Macaro, and like I said, I'm going to play with it just a little bit more. I wasn't expecting to have quite so many stumbles. I mean, you know, for $15 you don't get the best of user manuals. Let's put it that way. I'm going to have to go back and look at a couple of YouTube videos just to make sure I'm up on just the basic maneuvering stuff, and then I will get back to I'm going to get back to that map and actually use it to draw something. Why is that not looking on? Because there's 2 brackets in there, and then I'm going to use it to do the in picture that I want to do. We'll do that next week. How's our timer doing? 3 minutes to go. Then everything. No firsts, huh? Interesting. Should do it. Let's see what we look like so far. 43 seconds to go. Look out for a second when I did that. Didn't close a bracket there. This new keyboard is a little touchy. I gotta be careful how I rest my fingers on the keys. And it's over. So did the sound come through? Did the sound come through? Yeah, it did. Okay. How is it volume-wise? Because I don't have any real control over the volume. I hope it was noticeable enough to be an end of the sprint. A little, yeah. I don't want it too loud. I know. Coffee was actually even saying she doesn't like the really loud, raucous, gongy kind of sounds when she's in the middle of concentrating on something. It's kind of jarring sometimes, and I get that. So I figure the bell toll was jarring enough. The problem is it's on the same audio volume as the background music. So until or unless I can get it to get its own audio channel in Streamlabs, then that's what I'm stuck with. Okay, I think this is pretty much done. That looks good now. It's a pretty busy stat block, huh? Bracket under focus beauty. Take a look at that. Certainly do. Oh. I need to take, I know I'm very near the end of the stream, but before I wrap things up, I need to take a very, very, very brief time out because my animals are trying to kill each other. So let me do that. I will be right back. Alright, don't go away. This will be a real quick stop. And then I'll come back and we'll figure out what we're doing and what's going on in the future and who we're raiding and all that kind of good stuff. So hang in there, and I'll be right back. That wasn't too long, was it? Every once in a while, my almost 14-year-old cat decides that he wants to play his favorite game, which is Torment the Dog. So, I was rescuing my puppy, who is actually technically not a puppy. I mean, she's 12 years old. And probably outweighs the cat by about 8 to 1. But the cat rules in this house. So I've put together a couple of nice NPC stat blocks here. Actually, this would serve as a character. This is an NPC full character sheet. This is more than a stat block. But when I think stat block, I think something brief and concise. But then again, at this level, that's as brief and concise as it can get. So we got that one done. The only thing I need to do is... Remember, did I tag and catalog it? I did not. NPC, Fae, Dryad, into the NPCs folder. And again, for those of you who are just who play with stat blocks every once in a while, these folders, that was something else that Dimmy announced yesterday. Instead of just the one long list of every stat block you've ever created and ever used, we now have stat block folders, so I can just look at my NPCs, I can just look at my spells. I've created my own stat blocks to define, to do some of the basic stats for character creation for races. I will have a few more things like this. That's another thing I'll work on in the future. I created a meta category just for this is my Anvilite Streamer Core entity. I created a creatures. I don't have anything in it yet, but I will. Is there a way to copy a finished stat block? Unfortunately, I don't think there is. I would love to be able to clone the Naiad and the Dryad that I just did, because what I would then do is take out the references to the specific name, change their frequency from unique to whatever it's supposed to be, and actually put them up as generic stat blocks. If there's no way to do the copying, and I don't think there is, then I'll just create them. I'll just do them up as creatures anyway, and just copy and paste the pieces. Maybe I'll do that anyway. But so, what time is it? It is almost time. The echo is back again, huh? Yeah, it's got to be. I'm not doing anything or changing anything. It's got to be Twitch. I can't imagine it being anything else. Because I'm not doing anything to make it happen. I'm not changing. I'm not triggering anything, and more importantly, I'm not triggering anything to turn it off. And we've seen that before. It's happened to other people as well. And it's gone again. Yeah, it's a Twitch thing, I think. We'll have to keep an eye on it. If it is indeed a Twitch thing, then it'll probably happen to other people today, because Twitch tends to go through these stages, shall we say, where they have problems, the same problems for everybody all the time. So, just out of curiosity, have they got the raid thing fixed yet? Oh, it looks like they did. They finally got the raid jumper fixed. Okay. Normally Hefe is on after me. Is he not up yet? Huh. Speak of the devil, just as I say that, my phone gets the notification that Hefe is live. So Hefe is where we're going to be raiding. Until then, just as a quick wrap-up, I will be streaming on Tuesday. Tuesday is my normal generic World Anvil world building day. So I think Tuesday we'll probably devote to sprints, and I personally will start to do some serious work on the challenge for September, the organization, the Alliance challenge. I've been mulling over in my head when the challenge first came out. 3 ideas popped into my head. Two of which I should say are more immediately relevant to the region that in my world that I'm working on now, and the third one was not at all relevant to what I'm working on now, but it was a really fascinating idea. And my first thought, in my world, there's let me see if I can do it this way. I can even show you real quick with some quick examples. Oh, they're in here. What am I doing? Maps. This one should do. So this is the Frontierlands. All right. Now, my players in the area that I'm really focusing on is an area down in here in the forest. All right. But there's a city up here. I don't want to mark the title there. This city of Enmere is one of several and Seagate is another one. There are several free and independent city-states that are not part of any other kingdom. Actually, Cliffport is a third one, but you'll notice that one's a different color, and that's because it's mostly dwarven. The other 2 are mostly human. But there's also 2 or 3 others. 2 others. Now, my first idea was actually a tie-in to one of the treaty articles in summer camp. I did a treaty article on the agreement that the 4 human-based city-states all signed for not only mutual protection but also mutual trade management. All right, and I was going to turn that into a kind of an alliance of the four city-states to put a chokehold. It's hard to see on this map, but the 4 of them kind of wrap themselves around a major land body of water, rather, with 2 at the mouth where it opens into a bigger sea, and the others a little farther back. So if the 4 of them essentially control that whole gulf, then I call it a bay, but not Clearwater, but there's another one. There's Icefell Bay just off the map to the north. The 4 of them control all the trade in and out of Icefell Bay. That has a big impact on the rest of the world to the west. So that was my first idea. My second idea also came from an article in summer camp. Enmere was my city that was destroyed and then rebuilt. And the leading... during the rebuilding phase, there were 4 individuals that kind of took the lead among the survivors of the war that ran through and sacked the city. And those 4 kind of took the lead in the whole resurrection of the city. And after they died, it was their families that kept it on. And it got to the point where those 4 families essentially ruled the city. And in fact, after a few hundred years of it being de facto, the city actually, with the consent of the public, passed a law that established a city council that was permanently the heads of the 4 families. So you have the the four families, the four big houses, who communally run Enmir. So the government of Enmir is an alliance of the four families. And of course, the interesting thing is that in reality, the four families hate each other. They're constantly plotting against each other in the background. They do work together when they have to for the good of the city, because the good of the city benefits them all. But there's a lot of backstabbing and other stuff going on in the fringes and edges. So that was my second idea. The third idea, and it's the one that's been growing bigger and bigger in my head all the time, way off to the west of here, but in another part of the world that I wasn't planning on getting into too heavily just yet, there is I just noticed something weird about this map. I'll have to see what's going on with that. It looks like there's a chunk of river that's missing. There is a kingdom that is essentially, there's an area that calls itself a kingdom that is a affiliation of pirate lords. So you have these pirate lords that each control a fleet of some size of ships, each of which has crews, of course, but they kind of make a country work together. So again, the alliance would actually be among the pirate lords, or among the pirate fleets, which would occasionally, and I could, in an article, I could establish, that they actually came together to fight one of the other kingdoms that was trying to knock out piracy. So they all got together for their mutual benefit, and as a result, they also agreed on certain things. They don't necessarily raid each other. They might have carved up the world as far as, who gets to operate in what chunk and all of that kind of good stuff. So although the pirate lords themselves are kind of at the tops, because again, the article doesn't want to be an alliance. It can't be an organization of individuals. It's an organization of organizations. So I would have to just write it so that there's a lot of reference to the actual pirate fleets and crews. So I think that's what I'm going to do, and I'll take another 2 days to think about it. So on Tuesday, that'll be what I start writing. And with that, I see it is now 5 after the hour. Heffy should be well established. So we are going to raid FA. And let's see if this works. That's interesting. He doesn't show up here. So we'll have to do it this way. I keep forgetting he's Hefe live, right? Live, yes. So I would like to thank you all for coming, putting up with the echoes. Hope to see you all. I'm sure I'll see a bunch of you around on other streams today, and hope you all come back on Tuesday. And until then, have a good one. I'll give everybody a couple seconds, by the way. Use your chat. You can use your channel, your Dino Tracks, to unlock my raid emote, because my raid call is to just flood the chat with that emote. So so anybody that's going raiding, like I said, take a few seconds now, unlock that raid emote, the trampling dinosaur that says raid, and let's see how many of them we can throw on the Hefflings. And with that, let's get things started. And we'll be going in 2, 1, and we're off.